Another week, another trading cycles video. It's week 15, 2024. My name is Urmas and I'm here to give you an overview of what has happened last week and what financial markets might do this coming week. Before we do, I need to remind you that the like button is still waiting for your smashing it, and if you like, obviously, the content that I provide. And I also need to remind you that this content is provided for educational purposes only, and you need to do your own due diligence before making any decisions, and always trade the price, not the prediction. So what has happened last week then? Macro side, what we did see, obviously we did see some PMI numbers coming in, and they were quite strong in US, so that kind of shows that obviously the market is recovering fairly good. And there are no concerns in that sense, but obviously that's another topic for Fed's decisions, because the interests are gonna stay probably a bit higher for longer, as they have indicated for quite some time. Obviously, that just shows how resilient the market is, and it's not gonna break that easily. Although there are some things that are boiling beneath, but we will get through those details as well. Now, what else we have seen? The unemployment numbers came in very strong as well. So, unemployment rate did drop from 3.9 to 3.8. Yeah, so that's obviously another good sign, or strong sign, that market is or economy is holding quite good. Although these factors are not in favor what market is anticipating. So obviously everyone is waiting until the Fed starts cutting rates, which might happen not sooner than probably in June, but possibly even later on. As obviously it has been indicated by Minneapolis Fed Chief Kashkari. He was pointing to the possibility that there might be no rate cuts this year at all, and market did react quite heavily on Thursday to his comments, and yeah, that's not really what the market likes. Although I should say that it's not always good that when those rate cuts start happening, because on average what we have seen in history, in 195 days the market will see a quite strong correction after the first rate cut, and on average it has been around 23.5%. So that's not something we would really want to see there, but that's going to happen at some point, obviously. European banks are holding quite strong, so they are now on their reaching their 6-year highs now, yeah, basically. And that's been something we have been anticipating. So as Jupiter is moving through Taurus sign, then yeah, that's obviously a good indication that banking sector will do quite well, as we did expect. Now this cycle is gonna be over quite soon, in the end of May, and we will see or start seeing probably some shifts coming into banking sector as well. So that's something to be aware of, yeah. And in US and obviously everywhere else in the world as well, the office vacancy is gonna cause some issues, and at the moment we are seeing quite high vacancies there as well in that commercial real estate area or sector. It is going to cause some issues, as we have pointed out earlier in our previous episodes as well. So something to keep in mind when this snowball is gonna obviously escalate and roll even faster. It's hard to say, but possibly later on this year or next year at some point. Yeah, so that's going to cause some issues to the banking sector, and also high rates, as we know, they are not in favor for government either, because the government debt is rising, and to service that debt, obviously interests would be preferably lower. So there will be some pressure to the Fed as well from the government side. Yeah, and yeah, this is where we are at the moment. Now what happened in the world as well? So Zimbabwe dollar has been collapsing against the US dollar, and in recent times it has fallen more than 73%. So what is really happening there? I did look into that a bit, and what I did understand is that they have now introduced as one of the 4 countries in the world a digital currency, so CBDC as we call it. So and it is called gold-backed by what I understand. And since it was introduced back in October last year, the fiat money has been losing its value quite heavily. And obviously this is just an indication at the moment, as Zimbabwe is not so developed country as any other one, like Europe or UK or US. But obviously it gives us some sort of idea what could happen after those CBDCs are going to be introduced to the fiat money system. So just something to keep in mind. All right. And as we all know, the fiat money, so to say, leading or prominent fiat currencies do tend to change over time. And here is an overview what sort of currencies we have had in recent times. Well, not so recent, but obviously in the past centuries. But the latest one, obviously, as we know, is US dollar, and it's been dominating since 1921. And on average, they have been ruling the world from 80 to, let's say, 110 years. So that time is going to be soon over, and we shall see if there's going to be some shifts as well. Either it's going to be to the digital world, or some other currencies will take over the lead role there in the world. And also some central banks are buying gold quite heavily, like China and India and Turkey, I believe, as well, or something. So basically, I think they are either putting their money for not so unsafe times to those hard assets, or there's some other ideas behind it. Maybe it is all related to the digital money there as well. Now to the US car market, there are some news as well in regards. So I'd like to point out a couple of things here. So US auto sales rose nearly 5% in Q1, so it's a very strong market, and there's about 3.8 million vehicles sold in that time. EV market is showing quite a lot of weakness. As we do understand from Tesla's stock price as well, it has been dropping quite heavily in recent times, although we can't say it to other companies like, let's say, Toyota or General Motors. They have been doing quite well in that time against Tesla. So that is the trend that we are seeing. And also Ford has now said that they are changing their strategy. So they were actually looking to go all electric on their SUV range, but now they are focusing more on hybrid models again. Kia did recall some cars, more than 400,000 of them, that were produced between 2020 to 2024, because they do have some defect that causes the vehicles to roll away when they are parked. So that's obviously not a safe solution there, and therefore they need to be recalled, and there is accordingly some sort of software issue in those vehicles. Xiaomi did bring their electric vehicle to the market, and that did really well, because it is priced obviously quite a lot less than Tesla Model 3 is, and in the first 27 minutes it sold around 50,000 cars, or they were ordered at least. So that's obviously quite good result for a first day for a newcomer on that sector. And GM reported a 1.5 decline in Q1 in US vehicle sales year over year, so they didn't do so well. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind as well. On other news, there was an earthquake in Taiwan, which probably you have heard of already. So it's been the strongest earthquake in 25 years, and it did shake a bit semiconductor market as well, but not too much. Obviously, it was nothing to be worried about. And also egg prices in US are starting to rise again because there is some sort of bird flu going around, and that might cause again food inflation. Yes, so that's something to bear in mind as well. What else we got there? So United Airlines has requested that pilots take voluntary unpaid leave in May due to Boeing delivery delays. Okay, so Boeing issues are still ongoing, yeah, so that's something to bear in mind as well. And from technology sector, Intel did disclose some quite heavy loss there, 7 billion accordingly, and well, nothing to worry, they did gain 8 billion from the government, although it should go to expand their production there in US. Spotify is about to raise prices as well from $1 to $2 a month on their plans, and X, or former Twitter, has reintroduced a free blue badge for users with significant following. So that's gonna be back to their accounts then, yeah. Alrighty. Now let's have a look what the market has been doing, and if we compare growth and value, so to say balance there, then it's still tilted to the growth side, and investors are in favor of growth stocks rather than value stocks at the moment, and also more to the either large cap or mid cap side rather than small cap. Yeah, so small cap has been declining quite heavily or falling behind, let's put it that way. Now, if you look at our forecasts here and what has happened actually on the market, so it did, well, it wasn't that accurate, to be honest, on this week. So what actually happened was that I had to turn around this blue cycle here. Now it looks a bit more accurate if you look at it this way. Yeah. But yeah, on Thursday we had that shake up there when the Fed comments did came in, and obviously that didn't please the markets at all. But by Friday the market did recover somewhat, but obviously did end in a minus side, on a negative side. Now if you look at the 50-day moving average on the broad market, then that has declined as well, so it's back to its 53 range there, or 50s range. And 200-day moving average on S&P 500 did start declining as well. Last week we did see some heavy levels there, so obviously there is quite good expectancy that the market will decline a bit more even, yeah, in the near future, because it doesn't tend to stay on those elevated levels for too long. And WIX did see some action there as well, but it's still within this range that we have seen, so hasn't broken out yet, so there's no massive panic still on the market. Technically, S&P 500 is in good stage still, although there is some sort of resistance now forming. We'll see if it's going to be broken or if it's going to be holding and the market will start correcting at some point. Yeah. And on weekly charts, same picture basically. It is showing some sort of resistance there as well, and it's been overextending quite some time already, so it is about time to give it some sort of breathing room there. Yeah. And Russell 2000 did correct already, bounces back from that resistance and didn't break through still. Now, sector performance-wise, a week was very good for energy sector and also communication sector, and real estate and healthcare didn't perform so good at all. And if you look at the heat map, then we do see that obviously energy sector has been maybe the only green sector here for a week. There were some technology stocks as well that did perform quite well, like Meta and Amazon, but yeah, overall it was quite red week, let's put it that way. Yeah. And if you look at the winners and losers there amongst S&P 500 pool of stocks, then yes, the energy stocks were on the winning side. Meta as well is showing up there, but from the losing side, for example, Ulta Beauty has declined quite heavily, and also this sector didn't do so well. So possibly there's going to be some tensions forming now on that sector as well. So if people don't have enough money to spend on those beauty products, then obviously they do prefer to buy food rather than those. So something to bear in mind. Yeah, we might see some sort of issues forming out of those indications as well. Insider activity did pick up a bit in a week, but nothing massive. So there were a couple of names that I noticed as well. For example, Tim Cook, Apple CEO, did sell some of its stocks, about 33 million worth, I believe, but that's obviously not too much if you consider all his holdings there. And was it Google's CEO as well? He did sell something, but yeah, it hasn't been a massive sell-off anymore. Yeah. And now, fear and greed, it stays still on the greed side. It did go to the neutral zone during the week, but now it's still back to the greed zone. Yeah. Obviously, if we see that starting to decline, well, it's going to only happen if the market is going to fall even further. Yeah. All right. And crypto fear and greed index is still in that extreme greed zone. Yeah, so lots of action going there still as well. So that's one of the best performing sectors on the market still. And now seasonally, we should be now starting to see some sort of action to the higher side, but it doesn't obviously perform all the years the same. So we have to look at the other signs as well, as we did miss that good decline there that normally happens. So it might be that the next correction is still ahead of us. And statistically, yes, it is. It has been a very strong month indeed, yeah, in previous times. Astrological effects there. Today is the 8th of April, Monday, and we did see a solar eclipse, which was very clearly visible in US, obviously. And on midweek we have Mars conjunct Saturn, yeah, and that's obviously not the best aspect to keep in mind. So that might shake up the markets as well. So these are quite volatile aspects that we have coming this week, and also on Friday we have Sun conjunct Mercury. So something to bear in mind. We might have some greater volatility coming into the markets now, indeed. And we're still in Mercury retrograde zone as well here, so that's going to also shake up things even more. Now our black box model is showing some decline as well towards the end of the month, so something to keep in mind as well, just as an indication here. What to expect next week on the markets? Then there's going to be some inflation numbers coming out, so CPI numbers are going to be introduced, and that's going to indicate again what Fed might decide, and also banking sector will start introducing their earnings season. They are the first one obviously coming out with earnings, and what we can expect, possibly we will see some declines there. Is it going to be now declining more than analysts are expecting? Well, that's another question. So we will see how the market will react to their messages as well. So that's something to keep a close eye on. And Fed is also talking again. They are quite loud in recent times, obviously. And what else we have? Some consumer sentiment numbers are coming out as well. Yeah. Okay. Now this week's cyclical obviously prediction is here as well, so that shows us some sort of volatility as well coming into the markets. Now, is it going to be heavy decline on the second half of the week, or is it going to be rather going up? That's another question. Sometimes they do invert, so something to bear in mind, but it is just an indication at the moment, and possible scenarios are there. And also what we did discuss last week as well, there is a longer term cycle coming in as well, which did obviously already indicate that the market might be starting to correct this month. So we'll see if this coming week is now gonna be according to this cycle as well. So something to bear in mind. And to remind you as well that we are still in fourth presidential cycle year, and usually it has been quite strong growth year, although there are some corrections always within that year as well. So something to bear in mind. We are now approaching this correction line here. And our annual prediction did include this cyclical pattern as well. So we did expect that this year is going to be quite strong growth year, although there are some corrections obviously within that cycle as well. Now let's have a look at our turning points as well. So on S&P 500 there's not much really coming up. Where did I lose my turning points now? 1 second. I'm quite sure we had some more there coming up. Okay, that has gone missing now. That's okay. No worries at all. We did see our obviously S&P signal coming up on Tuesday last week, and that is a negative one this time. So we'll see if it holds. Then yes, we will see more declines even further from here. And oh yeah, here they are. So I can see the turning point now as well. So the next turning point is on Monday, the 15th. So possibly. Yes, we might see this week going to one direction only. Is it going to be up or down? That's we need to obviously follow the price. Now, US oil has been rising quite a bit, as we did indicate last week as well. And the turning point was on Friday. And from there, it's been now declining a bit today. The next one is coming up on Friday the 12th. And yeah, this is quite bullish period still, so we might see even more or higher prices during the month of April. Gold prices have been obviously rising quite heavily, and today the rise has continued. So the next turning point here is coming up on Thursday the 11th. And Bitcoin, what Bitcoin has been doing, so it did go sideways for quite some time here, but today, when is the next turning point, we did see some rising prices again on Bitcoin market. So we'll see if it's gonna now head even higher. The next turning point is coming up on the 22nd of this month, so quite long periods there. Yeah, so let's keep an eye on this one as well. All right, and if you look at some stocks here that we have been following. So Apple first. So Apple is or has been in news as well. So they are planning to lay off now about 614 workers in California. Basically, they are coming mainly from the Apple car division, I believe. That was closed or shut down now. And apparently they are looking into some other sectors as well. So now they're talking about possibility of home robotics as their next adventure. So we'll see if there's going to be some innovation coming out from that side. And now in a short term, the Apple stock has been very negative. It is touching that support line here already about third time now, and obviously it's not looking good. Technically it's very weak at the moment, and it might go even lower if this support doesn't hold. If you look at Amazon now, Amazon is doing very well still. It's been heading to the higher side, and let's see what it's doing long term here. So we have now reached our target here. So obviously we do expect some sort of correction coming in at some point as well, but at the moment it looks very strong. Yeah, so if you look at technical indications here, it's all green. Yeah, nothing has changed really, and the momentum is still there as well. All right. From Amazon, on the news there has been a rumor, or was it the actual plan, but apparently they are looking to invest around 105 billion over 15 years in data centers and support their AI and digital services growth, aiming to maintain then the cloud computing market leads. So obviously they are not looking to miss that opportunity. So that's a good sign. And they are also looking to create their next, or one of their data centers just near the nuclear plant. So just that's a good indication that energy needs are going to grow in the next coming years and decades quite heavily. So maybe that's another sector to look into, to invest. Yeah. And now let's look at the Google price as well. Google is looking strong again. Yeah, so it did kind of bounce back from this line here, but if you look at the short-term indications here, yeah, it's still going strong. Yeah, today it has been rising again. So that's a good entry point, possibly, if you are a bit risk tolerant. Obviously need to be cautious because we are approaching those previous tops here, so we are near last resistance level still. And let's look at Meta stock as well, as we have been following it as well. Meta is still going strong as well. Yeah, nothing has really changed here. If you look at the technical view in short term, let me see, there hasn't been many news in regards, but yeah, it is still continuing its rise. Yeah, so it bounced off from this support level. That's all good. And looking at Microsoft has been in news with one little nuance there. They are looking to sell their Teams app now separately from their Office suite, because they are obviously looking to avoid any antitrust penalties. So that's something to bear in mind. There has been a divergence now forming for Microsoft and also some sort of support or resistance, sorry, as well there. Yeah, so a bit cautious at the moment, but we'll see what's going to happen. If it's going to break through, then the next obviously target would have been around 460 here. Yeah, okay. Next, what we got here, Netflix. Yeah, Netflix is still going strong. Last week was very good again, so it did bounce back here and keeps going. So nothing has changed really, and there hasn't been any news either. At least I haven't noticed any. So let's have a look at Nvidia as well. So Nvidia is now declining a bit. So we did see that double top there, and technically, if I can get the indicators on the screen. Okay, so basically we are bouncing back from this resistance here, and there is a slight support as well beneath it. So it's going sideways at the moment, undecided, but there is a stop in place for myself, at least at 841. Yeah, so that's obviously the level. If it breaks that one, then it might go even lower from here with that correction. Yeah, okay. Now, and Tesla has been in news again as well. So the obviously sales have dropped quite a bit in the last quarter. So they did miss nearly 9% in their figures, and it's been the first yearly decline in 4 years. Obviously, the electric cars are not in the best favor at the moment, I would say. And also, Elon Musk did kind of look to cheer up the news, and he did say that the robotaxi is coming up out on the 8th of August. So we'll see what that's going to mean. Obviously, it is unlikely that it's going to be introduced because the legislative issues, but it might be something interesting, hopefully, for the future. As we know, there are some lead times always. He tends to introduce new features beforehand, and it takes quite a while until it's going to be actually on roads. But yeah, although there were some rumors as well that they are teaching their low-cost entry-level sedan production or introduction, but Elon Musk did kind of deny it on his tweets. So we'll see. Possibly in August we will see some more news in regards. Yeah. Okay. And PayPal as well. How has this one been doing? So it did bounce back from this double top here, and this resistance has been holding. Now today it has been obviously going strong again to the upside, but we are still a bit hesitant. So once it breaks through from here, from that 68.17 level, possibly somewhere there, then yeah, we might see some more upside, but at the moment I'm a bit cautious. Yeah, so waiting for better price action coming into play. And what else? Lululemon I wanted to mention as well. So it has been obviously dropping quite heavily, and although it is very good company, if you look at the fundamentals, it's doing very well. It doesn't seem to be in the best favor at the moment, but I do expect that maybe those support levels here will hold, and the price might start turning at some point. Yeah, so there are some levels at 354, then 330, and 294. Yeah, so we will see how it's going to play out, but at the moment it is against that first support level, and possibly we will see some turnaround there, yeah, at some point as well for this company. Once the indicators are going positive, then it might be a good chance to look into this company as well as an opportunity. All right, so that's about it. Let's wrap it up. I will thank you for staying with me until the end. As always, if you like this content, then please like it and share it. And also I'll thank you and wish you happy trading for this week as well. All right, all the best.